go Tulasi Srimad. He is divine. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is chapter 2, sloka 7. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Prichami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. 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 Yat shreyasani shitam bruhi tanme. 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 Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Anyone from Prabhuji want to read? Karpanya, of miserableness, dosha, by the weakness, upahata, being afflicted, swabhava, characteristics, prichami, I am asking, tvam, unto you, dharma, religion, sammudha, bewildered, chetaha, in heart, yat, what, shreya, all good, shat, maybe, nishchitam, confidently, bruhi, tell, tat, that, may, unto me, shishyaha, disciple, te, your, aham, I am, sadhi, just instruct, mam, me, tvam, unto you, prapannam, surrender. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composures because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every state, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happens without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appears without our wanting. Such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not, therefore, remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Who is the man in the material perplexities? Is it he who does not understand the problem of life? In Aranyakya Upanishad 3.8.10, the perplexed man is described as follows: Yova etad aksharam gargya viditvat samal lokat praiti sakarpanha. He is miserly man who does not solve the problem of life as a human, and who thus quits this world like the cats and dogs, without understanding the science of self-realization. This human form of life is the most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. On the other hand, there is the Brahmana, or he who is intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve all the problems of life. Ye etat aksharam gargi viditva smal lokat preti sa Brahmana. The Karpanas, or miserly persons, waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members, on the basis of skin disease. The Karpanas thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Karpana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals, who takes care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjun could understand that his affection for family members and his wish to protect them from death were the cause of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still, on account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and disciples are serious, and now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in Gita itself, and yet foolish mundane scholars explains that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna's within and without, and one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. Karpanya dosho pahata svabha prichami tvam dharma samura cheta yashreya sannishitam bruritanme shishyastiham sadimam tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composures because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am a disciple and a soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmittam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhurya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatharani. So this is very important phase that Arjuna is in Bhagavad Gita. We can see the war in Mahabharata is about to begin. And when it was about to start, Arjuna actually requests Krishna, can you please take me to the center of the armies? Because I want to really see who are there to fight. But as a Paramatma and a very intelligent Guru and the Lord Himself, He exactly knows what is required for this particular soul. So Krishna very knowingly takes him to where Arjuna is very much affectionate and attached to. These personalities he takes forward. So this one quality Arjuna showed is very, very important in our life. That is observing. They want to see actually whom I'm going to fight. So in the same way, we also have to observe ourselves who is the enemy of our life. That is very, very important. So Arjuna, to view his enemies, so when he sees that his grandfather Bhishma Pitama is there, his own guru who have taught all this archery, he is staying there, ready to fight. And his old brothers, Duryodhana, even though they were inimical, but they are still my brothers. So that actually came in front of him very prominently. Suddenly, with all these feelings in his heart, so many symptoms arise in his body. His Gandiva started falling down. I'll try to put some symptoms of fear. That in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2.29, he says, Krishna, my whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hand. And my skin is burning. This sensation, right, when there is fear, now I'm having some little fear over here. My heart is pumping and, the mouth gets dry. So I just put these symptoms to test myself. One of the symptoms is there. Increased blood pressure, tightening of muscles, sharpened and redirected senses. It's all over places. Dilation of the pupils, increased sweating, sleeplessness. And this kind of symptoms, Arjuna is explaining his symptoms, what he is actually feeling inside his heart. So I'm not now able to stand here, even he's not able to stand properly. Like it's trembling. I'm forgetting myself. Like when sometimes we are so fearful, we really forget ourselves. And my mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune. Oh Krishna, killer of Kesi demon. So these symptoms actually, Arjuna is showing and expressing this feeling of fear to Krishna. So, what is really fear? That's defined, as a definition dictionary explained. It's an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. So it is emotion that has not really happened. So you are thinking about something is going to happen, and you're speculating, you're thinking, your mind is wandering, and now your heart is feeling that feeling, the heavy feeling. That is actually is fear. In Nepal, there is one saying, "Manko bagle khancha na khancha, tar manko bagle khancha." So it is not that a tiger in the forest will eat you, but the one in your mind actually definitely going to eat you. So this is the same situation Arjuna is feeling actually. But there was one TV program and about the health program, and this one small kid and his uncle was staying, and they're watching like Arogya, but it's some kind of health program. So every week they used to have this talk about different kind of disease. So this person, always the interviewer, always have some different topic of health. Sometimes he speaks about cancer. Sometimes he talks about tuberculosis. Sometimes he talks about fever. So many diseases, diabetic. So many diseases started talking. And this boy, the small boy, used to like watch with his uncle. And one day he says, "Such a terrible. I feel so sorry for this man. Right? Last week only, he has a diabetic. Now look at that. He already had cancer. Now see, again, he has some terrible disease." So that is a misunderstanding that actually the boy is thinking that the interviewer actually he has this problem and asking this so many doctors or the expert that what is the disease, like how to solve this problem. But actually, he was not diseased. In the same way, Arjuna actually here, right? Bhagavad Gita is actually for us. Right? We have to understand these symptoms he's trying to solve, or his questions actually are for us, and how to prevent ourselves from the symptoms of fear. So that is very, very important, right? So sometimes, like this fear is sometimes so high, our anticipation is so much that we don't know that actually how dangerous it is. Maybe it's less danger. There's nothing actually to worry about. But our mind, we so much anticipated, thinking about how it's going to be this, or like for example, somebody traveling to India, right? How the kids going to take the heat, how the weather they're going to be, you start thinking so much that actually you become more sick than the kids, right? So we more anticipate than what is necessary. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that in this material world, we basically do three things. One is like we hanker for things which we don't have. Right? We want to do, I don't have this, I don't want to have this. This hankering is always there. So if we got this hankering, something we achieved it, so we are fearful of losing it. And once we lose it, we do is lamentation, right? That's what we have. So, let me release the volume. I think that. So, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our acharya, explains that why actually we perform some actions in this world. What is the motivation behind? Why, what we do, why we do. So one of the important, one of the motivation, one of the factor that actually we perform something is because of fear. Right? How many of you are not afraid? You don't have any fear. Everyone is fearful of something, right? We can see Chitraketu Maharaj. He was so much concerned. He had no progeny. Dasharatha Maharaj. He had no sons. He was so miserable. He was so fearful. Who is going to take care of all my family generations? We have fearful, like maybe some Matajis when there's a festival. Oh, how I'm gonna look like. You know, somehow somebody will complain. You know, they're always fearful. Maybe something is wrong over here, right? So there is always some fear. Like how, like somebody has, there's a saying, "Koi tan se dukhi, koi man se dukhi, koi dhan bhi na udas. Thoda thoda sab dukhi, sukhi sham ka das." We always have something to fear. कभी बच्चा नहीं है, वो भी problem. बच्चा है, तो भी problem. We always fearful. How they gonna do it? How they gonna maintain? And when we don't have, also we have so much worry. This material world actually is full of this fear symptoms. So in Bhagavad Gita it's explained that this fear is very, very predominant force in this material world. Brahma bhuvana loka punaravarti arjuna. Even from Brahma loka, this fear is there. And because this material world has this real big problems, what we really actually supposed to fear, that is a very secondary things. That how I look, you know, somebody is fair, they have to be gray, like to take sun bath, put some lotions. If somebody is in India, if you go, and even in my country, Nepal, lot of fair and handsome, fair and lovely, because you have to be white, you have to be fair, right? That's the problem. That's fear. If you are not fair, it's not good for you. Over here, if you are fair, oh, you have to tan yourself. How beautiful you're looking. See that? All this marketing is there. So that's a problem. And when there was bomb blast in India, people were even afraid to touch somebody's back. It's always padam yad vipadam natisha. Every state there is a need. We have to actually fear. We can see there are the main fear actually for a devotee is taking birth again. We don't want to take this miserable birth. Sit in the womb 9 months. Like if you take from other animals, they are like, you know, some animals they have like 36 months. You stay in the womb, even more sometimes. You have to take birth, eating your own urine and stool. Such a miserable. Why? Who wants it? It's actually a very fearful condition. Then, on the other hand, we don't want to get old. We are so fearful. So all this plastic surgery industry, all this makeup industry, making so much money. What they are using? The fear of the beauty. Right? We fear that we're going to lose. And next is disease. You're going to get sick. It's a very fearful situation. Today you are so strong, like, you know, I'm so powerful. Little disease can make you slip down on the bed for weeks, right? Somebody like recently, one of my friend's mother, she was just eating her lunch, and suddenly she had a stroke. Immediately hospital. That's it. Very difficult. So we are always fearful. We are fearful with like if, like, you know, the loved ones, if somebody will leave us, right? Fearful of death. Everyone is fearful of death, right? Or we don't want to die. People want to take all my money, but save me, right? But these all problems are there in the world. So there are because of the fear actually arises because of our needs and the fulfillment. Difference between this fear is these two. That we have some demands that we want to fulfill it. But when that doesn't happen, then the fear comes. So how I can do it? How I can get it? This anticipation is always there, and we know, like, you know, in this material world, like even every living thing, like birds, you can see the most anxious, always in anxiety and fear. Animals, the birds, always eating something, looking all the time. The sparrows, you can see the pigeons, they're eating on the ground but looking around all the time. So anxious. You can just imagine their heart. It's pumping much faster than us. So this is a situation in the material world that we all are fearful, and we have to go through this situation. And so, but is fear good or bad? That's a very, very important question. So actually, it is explained that fear actually is the beginning of wisdom. Sometimes because of this fear, we tend to do things. First, and this is actually in mode of ignorance. Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I was explaining, as the motivation, the first factor they do action is because of fear, right? And actually the fear sometimes is very good too. So if there was no laws, right, like if you're not fearful of the laws, everyone will come out as a criminal. So that there's a law. You should not do this, you should not do that. Like yesterday I was driving, the police van came immediately behind. I was already fearful. I know I have not done anything, but still fearful. I have to drive very nicely. Where is it? Okay, I'm 45. How much is the mileage over here? Like how? What is it? You immediately correct yourself. So it is actually healthy fear, right? So healthy fear is really good. Like just like devotees, like fear of Maya, it's very good. And pure devotees, they are very afraid of losing Krishna. There's a very wonderful pastime. Rukmini one time was staying with Krishna and Rukmini was fanning Krishna. So Krishna jokingly, he wanted to tease Rukmini. So she said, Rukmini, I think you did some mistake. Choosing me, the wrong guy. So he gives 11 reasons in Bhagavatam actually, it's not Bhagavatam. Why you should not have chosen me? So I'm Gwala, he's so beautiful, I'm Kala, so many reasons he gave. So while hearing this, just feeling that, and Krishna says, like, you still have chance. You can go, like, you can leave me actually, because I'm already not attached guy. You can always find the right guy. You can always have this opportunity. So when actually Rukmini heard even this feeling of separation, she fainted. And when she came into consciousness, she tells Krishna and challenges and cuts all these 11 reasons that Krishna gave. Krishna, you think I'm fool? Yes, he gave so many reasons. Because even demigods, I know they want to have me, but I know even these demigods are fearful. But Krishna, you are Abhaya. You were never fearful personality. And he discussed so many points regarding this. Very interesting topic. So, fear actually helps us from preventing danger. We know there's a fire, right? That's why we follow. There's a danger signal, there's exit. We follow the law. Well, actually it protects us. We know this. If I sit in some like thorn, we know that it's gonna pain. So we'll not step in, right? The kids, for example, very innocent. They are in 100-story building on the top. But if the kids doesn't understand, if you they try, nothing will happen. But one actually who understands his fear, that he will not unintelligently jump over it. So actually it's good. So first thing people do is fear. So which is it done in mode of ignorance. Second is because of reward. Right? People do something because I will get something. If there is a job that is posted, everyone like please apply this job, but we don't have money. We will not be able to pay. How many of people will apply? Nobody. Because people want a reward, right? And even kids, when they do something, there is a way, like in the schools they are taught something they do, like in Balram I learned. So you give ticket. So you get 10 tickets, you do good job, 10 tickets, here's the reward, gift. Every time he comes, oh, very good gift. You behave good, has green, all the traffic lights over there. He has green, 10 greens, here's a gift. So reward, that motivates them to do things, right? Actually, that's a mode of passion. You have some hetu. So third, people do something is because of is duty. Because this is my responsibility, I have to perform. So you perform some actions. You do those activities, right? And the highest among all this is love. In love, all these three factors are not very important. They don't even look for the duties. They don't even look for any rewards. What they're gonna get, right? They don't even are not fearful of what they are really doing. They simply do because of love. Just like the gopis, it explained in Shishastakam. Asli shabab adaratum pinastumam adarshana marmahatam karutuva yatha tatha bhavitatulam mat prananathastu sayavanapra. Krishna, no matter you love us or you kick us out, you neglect us, or you love and hug us, embrace us, no matter what activities, what kind of reaction or what kind of behavior you do to us, no matter what, you will always be out loud to us. There is no other doubt. There is no question of this. So, this fear factor, as we are explaining, there is one king, Bhartrihari. I don't know how many of you have heard. How many of you have heard this king, Bhartrihari? Very few. Actually, this is very popular king in Ujjain. Who had renounced. He was a very powerful king. And one day, there was a saint. He came, a Gorakhnath, it's a guru kind of personality. He came with the fruits. He says, Bhartrihari, you can have this fruit. So if you eat these fruits, you'll never become old. So when he heard this, he had so much attention. He had the third wife. He had beautiful wife, youngest one. Her name was Pingla. So he thought, what I'm going to do, being young, maybe my wife, if she remains beautiful, is good. I always have attraction to her. So she thought, and she gave this fruit to Pingla. But somehow, this Pingla, she gave this fruit to a Mahipal, some commander-in-chief, that actually she loved. She was thinking the same, that, oh, maybe I give this fruit to this my handsome man, my side man Mahipal. So, and this Mahipal somehow was more attracted to one prostitute. So he thinking, oh, maybe let me offer this fruit to this prostitute. And this prostitute got this fruit, and he was thinking, oh, this fruit actually is supposed to be used by king, because king does a lot of prosperous thing. Let me give this to him, and she has some attraction to this king. And if I am a prostitute, if I have this fruit, I have to live whole my life in this miserable, sinful life. What is the point? I don't want this life. Give it. And he took the fruit and gave it to the king. When the king received this fruit, what is this? I gave this fruit to, actually before this, he had written 100 slokas defining the beauty of his queen, called Shringara Satak. Such a beauty, love, passion. There were so many beautiful poems, poetic. And after this, he realized and immediately got detachment. Oh, I was loving this king. There's a very nice poem he has written. Ya chintayami satatam mai sa virakta sapyanmi chakt jana sajonyan sakta asmat krite cha paritushyati kachidanya diktam cha tam cha madanam cha imam cha mam cha. He said that I was so much attracted, actually attached to some other person. And this is so fool, this guy thinks that, oh, this person loves him so much, but he doesn't know that he also loves the anyunirakta, other person, right? So he says, diktamcha, damn to this wife, damn to this Mahipal, damn to this the lusty desire, the Kamdev, and damn to me, myself. And he renounced. Actually, he took sannyas, and he left, and he gave his king to his brother Vikramaditya. So he has written this one of this stanza about fear. It's called Vairagya Satak. There's a 31 sloka. Bhoge roga bhayam, kole chuti bhayam, vikte nripalat bhayam, mane dainya bhayam, pale ripu bhayam, रूपे तरुण्या भयम, शास्त्रे वाद भयम, गुणे खल भयम, काये कृतांतात भयम, सर्व वस्तु भयान्वितम, भुवि नृणाम वैराग्य मेवा भयम. So he explains that bhoge roga bhayam. So we want to enjoy, but what? The disease attacks. There was one guy who went to eat one batata vada. He was poor fellow. And this man whom he was asking, he rejected him. And in his heart, he was so much pain. One day, I will make money. Oh, itna batata vada khaun na, isko dikhata hu. So he made money. Somehow, some arrangements he made money. But after making all this money, he had some disease. You can never take the patara bada. So now, see, in America, this is the problem. People have money, but you can eat this, you can eat that, you can eat fried, you can enjoy. That's the thing. You want to enjoy, but so many diseases. Nowadays, like too many, they make so many beautiful fruits. Look over here, especially in America, everything looks chakachak. Doesn't decay. I have an apple, you got it. It never decays. What is happening? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, first class, right? But we don't know. It's all this GMO, all this. We're now scared. What is going to happen with this GMO, this pesticides, insecticides? It's crazy, crazy stuff, right? All these diseases. So he says, and say, Kule Chuti Bhayam. So there's always in family, you have a reputation in the family of fear of falling down. So just like, just like the Salman, I gave an example. You don't have progeny. You're always fearful, right? So the Gurman, they had this fear and crazy. Chitraketu Maharaj, can you imagine how much he was in anxiety? He had, I think, 100,000 wives, but no son. When Angiri Muni was coming, oh, Angiri Muni, they was serving him so much, but only one blessing was asking, give me son, Angiri Muni. Arey, tumhare bhagya mein nahi hai, beta, nahi hai. Please, please. And he gave Harsashoka. It's a long story actually. How miserable he became after this. So this is the thing. Kuli Chuti Bhayam. Vitte Nipalat Bhayam. Everyone is fear. You have money? Taxes. Who's gonna take all this black money, hide me? Oh, I don't want to show the government cash. So we have all this, Mr. Modi blocked all this big cash, 1,000 rupees. Oh, it became big shock for so many people. Maybe for some people did not become. So always fear that I have money, my property, government is going to take. In previous times, like when the king, they need money. Arey, iska ghar le lo, iska paisa le lo, iska zameen le lo. It was like that. Just like that they take. There is always fear of taxes and kings. Mane dainya bhayam. So when there is some praise is given, so there is always fear of dishonor. It is said that honor is worse than, like dishonor is worse than death for the honored person, right? So there is one story. This is a very real story. This guy, Karthik Rajaram, he did his engineering from IIT Mumbai. So he came to US and he did his MBA in UCLA, top college. After that, he was working for Sony. Big guy, big shot, and he used to do like he did in business over here, and he made all stock, all this marketing he was doing. But one day, all his market fell down. His job, he was very little arrogant. Somehow he was kicked out of the job. He could not find jobs, and he was struggling somehow. Even though he had he has all this prestige, all his Mercedes, BMWs, everything. He had his house, palace, and he had 3 children, and his mother-in-law and his wife. So one day he just came suddenly, and these kids were very sharp kids. One was a scholarship. He got scholarship in UCLA. One kid was 7 years old, very good in school. One was 12 years old in his school. Very highly, like, smart kids, they said. So this guy comes one day and shot everybody, kills everybody, kills everybody, his mother-in-law, all the kids, and himself. Why? Because he could not take this. Like, he had some prestige in his life. Right? I am this big shot. But this dishonor, he could not take it. This fear, he could not take this fear out of his heart. Time is clocking. So, Rupe Jaraya Bhayam. So, we all are fearful of old age. As we explained, all these companies they're running because of this business. This is one of the billion dollar business. They use this fear of Rupa. And Sastre Vadi Bhayam. So whenever somebody is knowledgeable, there is always some cut. Like, somebody brings his theory, Mr. Darwin brings his theory. He gets, this is garbage theory. Here is a theory. So there is always fear. Like, somebody has come with a good idea. And in past, these were all challenges. All these scholars, they had different kind of philosophy. They are so, like, they give They do a lot of challenges because they want to be proof that they are the most learned scholars, and there used to be debates on this philosophy, and they are fearful somebody will defeat me, some smarter philosopher will come and defeat me, like how Lord Chaitanya defeated so many philosophers, right? So same way, there is always Sastrivadi Bhayam and Guni Khala Bhayam. So whenever sometimes, this is one of the quality in Kali Yuga, everybody think, I'm so good, so nice. But why to be nice? Because there are some wicked people. You're always fearful, like, somebody will cheat you, trick you. I'm trying to be shida, but there are so many tricky people, they are trick me. So you're always fearful that you'll be cheated. I want to be very nice, righteous person, but there are people always trying to cheat. So always fearful of this situation. So, Kaye Kritantat Bhayam. And ultimately, we are all fearful of death. We are so much fearful of death. Because everything you have to leave. All your house, your property, your relatives, all hard work. लेके जाना है इसको suitcase मेरे साथ इतना पैसा बनाया मैंने. No, thank you. So that's why you feel. Krishna says, Mrityu Harasham, I am Kala, and I come as death and take everything from you. People are fearful. That's why death is very, very fearful situation, right? So there is and Sarvam Vastu Bhayam Vitam Bhuvi Nirnam Vairagyam Eva Bhayam. So he says in this material world everything is fearful. It's actually cause of fear. So he says we should keep up all this attachment, right? And actually one who is detached, actually he becomes fearless. There is one Brahmana, Avanti Brahman in Bhagavatam. He explains, Krishna actually tells this story to Uddhav. He explains that it's cause of suffering in his mind. Why we think, oh, somebody is causing me. He says this happiness and distress, why it happens. He says, Nayam janome sukha dukha hetur na devatatma graha karma kala mana paramakaranam atmananti samsar chakre parivartayatya. He says, Nayam janomi. It's not my relatives who is causing this problem. He's the cause of my happiness or distress, he says. Nayam janomi sukha dukha hetur. Na devata, neither the demigods are cause of this. Na devata atma graha karma kala. Neither those planetary positions, graha karma kala. Mana paramakaran. It's actually mind. Who is the biggest disease? Biggest culprit. And actually because of this mind, we come to this material world over again and again. There is one person, you might have heard his story. This guy, somehow he fell from the mountain, and somehow he was able to catch a branch of a tree. He was an atheist. Right? There's a saying that nobody's atheist in the foxhole. You know what is a foxhole? In a war, when there's a war, every soldier have to dig some hole for themselves to protect and fight from there. That's called foxhole. And so many guns, shootings are going on. So it says, like, you're so close to death. So there's no always praying for Krishna. Please protect me this time in my life, and you're fighting. So this guy, somehow he got hooked. And he's praying to God. God, please help me. Right? They're saying, whenever there's difficulty, we at least remember at a time. So he was remaining seriously praying. Bhagwan, bachana is bad. Agar bacha lenge, I will have complete faith on you. Immediately the voice came from the sky. Bache, your heart chhod de. Leave your hand. Don't hold it. Huh? Pagal hai. This is the only shelter I have. How can I live? You kidding me right now? So he was holding it, and it was freezing cold at the time. Very freezing cold. And he did not, leave it, you're going to be saved. The voice says. He didn't hear. So next day, the people around the village, they came and saw he was frozen, completely frozen under branch. And he was a feet the ground, they were the ground level. So he didn't have faith. right? And this is a thing. So this is one of the quality. We didn't have time. I don't know. We have to stop. We have to stop, or 5 more minutes. Okay. So this is one of the thing that really cause that we don't have trust. This is one of the factor. I'll try to speak so many examples how Krishna. Just leave it. So one of the main cause of fear explained in Shastra is ignorance, Agyan. Agyan is actually a bead, is a seed of performing sin, and also cause of fear, right? So in Bhagavatam, this explain it goes to the root cause, but is why there is a real fear. Bhayam dvitiya bhinivesha satshat ishadapetasya viprayo smriti tanmaya yato buddha bhajetam bhakti kaesham gurudevatatma. So bhayam, the fear, is dvitiya actually, which means that something other than the Lord. So that is Maya. We think Maya is the main thing in our life, and we get so much absorbed in this. So when we are out of Maya, it says fear arises when a living entities manifest themselves as a material body. Because of absorption in the external illusionary energy of the Lord, when the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. This bewildering fear condition is affected by the potency of illusion called Maya. Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deities and as his very life and soul. And Shastra explain what happens one surrenders. What happens actually one surrenders? So first 2 things happen, it says. One is klesagni. In miseries are reduced immediately. Because you can practice that. Actually, whenever you are suffering, you're in miserable condition, you have some fearful situation, you just sit down and pray to the Lord. Because that means that you throwing your independence to the Lord, and you know that Krishna, I know that you are the only person who can do best for me. I have nothing in my hand. Just like Draupadi. I want to give this example. Draupadi, her amazing quality, she actually prays very, very wonderful prayers. She remembers this in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna explained Name Bhaktya Prechati. She says, Pragya pratigya tava govinda Name Bhaktya Prechati iti samsmitya prana sandharmyam. She says, only thing, the life and soul of my word, that I can sustain my life, is because of this promise Krishna has given. I always remember this promise. It is samsmitya. I always remember again over and over that Krishna has promised. Name Bhaktya Prachati. Krishna has promised me that devotees will never perish. And see how we have to be independent. That's misery. How Draupadi, you can imagine what kind of situations he went through in front of his own people, right? She is going to be naked. You can just even complain. You can't even think about this. And it's not like ordinary family. She was a queen at Indraprastha. Just they recently, she didn't even know they lost it. She was a queen, and she was a top queen. It's not like ordinary queen. They had done Rajarshi Yajna. Means she was an empress of whole entire world. But look at the situation she was in, right? But surrendering to Krishna, that actually protects. Parikshit Maharaj also went through the same situation. But he did not even show a tinge of fear when he was cursed by Brahmana. Right? He was cursed by a Brahmana, Shringi, that you're gonna die in 7 days. Sitaram. Game over. Right? So he says that in 7 years you are king, you're enjoying the whole world, right? And next 7 days you have to die. Yeah. So, and he put this it is not ordinary, it's not very simple to cultivate that heart. And you have to see his prayers. Very deep prayers he does to the Lord. He says, Tasheva megha shaparavaresho vyasakta chitta shananata bhuyat nirveda mulo dvijasaparupo yatra prasakto bhayamashudatte. Krishna, actually you're giving this problem to me. All this Takshaka is going to bite me and destroy me. And actually it's your blessing, my Lord. He says, I'm not fearful. Because you are actually scaring me and warning me. Asakta. Because I am attached to my families. Now this is a time to renounce. Arre, zyada ho gaya tumhara attachment. This is a time you have to be alert. Right? You have to be alert that this is time, your time is clicking. Like just like we are getting old, it's time is clicking. Arre, bhakti karo, bhai, bhakti karo. But we still think relaxed. Every time kal karenge. But actually this is a warning, and that's what he's praying, Parikshit Maharaj. That actually this is a fearful situation. I'm going to die. You can just imagine, we know that we are going to die in 7 days. What will be our condition? It will be such an immeasurable condition. But his prayers actually give us a faith. And how Krishna, we can see Krishna has in time shown his promise and fulfilled his promise that he has protected his devotee. Nrsimha Mehta, Sant Tukaram, even in current past, like we've seen, like even Srila Prabhupada, nothing yet. But his prayers and surrender to Krishna was deep. Srila Prabhupada prays, Nachao Prabhu, Nachao Srimate, Kashtera Putali Jata, Nachao Mate. Krishna, please make me dance. Make me dance as you like. I'm not qualified. I don't have any qualification. But if you want, you can make me dance. That is so, that can be favorable for all these people in the world. And that Krishna actually acted. And that's how he could establish. It's not easy someone to come over here where he doesn't know anybody. You don't have any financial background, financial security, different culture, different environment, different weather. It's a very fearful condition to be, right? But he was really fearless. And he stand out his name, Abhay Charanar Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Sorry for taking a long time. Hare Krishna. And one question, maybe? No question. Prashad. Thank you so much.